Sure. Morning. Thank you. My name is Liz Martin. I'm from Sutton and Cheam CLP. I'm also a member of Unite and an executive member of my other union, Psychotherapy and Counselling Union, PCU. In CAC 1 on Sunday, on page 14, it said there were 4 reference backs submitted to the CAC prior to conference. We know this as our CLP submitted all 4. On Monday morning, when the first one did not appear under the relevant NPF report, we took the initiative and followed CAC's quite reasonable contact guidance in its reports. We emailed them as we had not heard any ruling on them, unlike the very helpful rulings that we got from our contemporary motions and emergency motions. We then received a reply a short while later and told they were ruled out of order. As a reasonable CLP aiming for good relations with CAC, we have not sought to raise the issue until we have checked the whole situation, which has now only become fully clear when the current CAC 4 was published this morning, thus justifying our reasonable question at this point now to everyone, both CAC and organisations submitting things in future. I'm nearly finished. As we know, we fully submitted the reference backs to the criteria the CAC requested. We are now asking what actual grounds were ruled out of order. If a new criteria on NPF reference backs has been developed only during conference, then we think it right and proper that we should be reported to conference as well as any explanation as to any future right of appeal to CAC on them as already exists for contemporary and emergency motions. As a result, we would also ask that after conference, the CAC in its report to NEC should cover this issue too, so NEC members are aware and can report back to members on the full criteria to the NPF reference back process in the coming year in time for 2026 conference. We believe this clarification will help both CAC with its future workload as much as it does everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hi Conference, I'm Ollie, I'm a delegate from Rusholme CLP and a proud member of Unite the Union. Yesterday, myself and other trade unions stood in solidarity with CWU workers who have been treated awfully by TikTok. This company has been using union busting techniques to stop CWU workers voting on union recognition. That's why I think it's disgusting that TikTok was sponsoring the Labour Student Social last night. So my question is to the CAC and Conference, do you think it's appropriate that a union busting company is sponsoring a Labour event at Conference? Thank you.
I think there's one more and that's the lot. Is that the lot? Yeah, thanks a lot for that. Right, Lynn, if you'd like to reply to the points that have been raised, I'd be very grateful.
Okay, first, Liz, Sutton and Cheam. All CLPs were contacted about their motions. If you want to come and see us and go through anything additional, please do so. But reference back will be part of our report that goes to the NEC. So we will be fulfilling that. I'm looking for where you are. Yes, we will be fulfilling that, that promise. But if there's something else that we're not picking up on and you need to come and see us, then please do. The office will be open this morning, so do come and see us, but we will try and get that sorted if there's a problem. In terms of TikTok, I have to say, I can hand on heart say, the CAC have nothing to do with the sponsors, so I can't answer that question for you. Thank you.
Right, thanks for that, Lynn. But if you'd... Yeah, we know. Right, thanks, Lynn. We'll now take the vote on the CAC report. Can I see all those in favour of accepting the report? Thanks, Conference. Can I see all those who are against? Right, I think you'll find that's carried, yeah. But thank you. But now, Lynn, please don't leave the stage yet. Conference, I just want to say a special thanks to Lynn and her colleagues on the CAC who preside over the conference. It's quite frequently a thankless task, but essential to the running of the conference. Lynn, thank you for all your hard work throughout the year that you and your support staff do. This is Lynn's last report as the chair of the CAC, as she's standing down after this conference. very shortly, in fact. So on behalf of everyone here, we've got you a present, Lynn. Thank you very much. Yeah, there you are, a bit of a surprise. Okay, right, thanks for that conference, much appreciated. And now our first speaker this morning is Joe Fortune from the Cooperative Party. Joe, if you'd like to come up, that'd be great.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, friends. Last year, in this report, we lamented that our country was gripped by a slump in trust and collective belief, threatened by those wedded to division. In response, the Cooperative Party launched a campaign called Community Britain, because we believe in the politics of common purpose and common ownership, not common enemies. Community Britain celebrates the strength of a Britain based on shared space, shared ownership and shared experience. It's now very clear there are very different visions of what our country is and should be. There's a stark choice. And friends, I can tell you what side the Cooperative Party is on. We believe in Community Britain. We found this Britain and the people who make it up right across the country. People with busy lives, stressful jobs, families to feed, who still choose to support their communities in ways big and small. People like Craig over the river, who runs Future Yard, a community-owned live music venue. People like Anushka and her 800 members who bought the historic Stretford Public Hall, bringing it back to life. And people like Mark, who leads the Community Energy Project in Bristol, the profits of which were reinvested and brought back his forgotten community centre. People who look at their life and choose something different, something better. People who've improved their areas, sometimes in spite of politics, and never with its full-throated support. Friends, Community Britain won't succeed by accident. To build a better Britain and not a bitter Britain, politics needs to step up and be counted. Last week's Pride in Place announcements begin the work of doing just that. Historic levels of investment directed by local people, with new rights for communities to take back control of the places they call home. A new community right to buy, starting the process of moving from not just saving assets, but to building them once again. We wholeheartedly reject the view, sometimes even repeated in our movement, that strong communities are nice to have. That's wrong. They're an important public policy tool for now. They're a necessity, and many in this room will know it. Now, we all have a choice. Now, we all have a choice about the sort of country we want to leave behind. Whether it's a country still in the grips of political apathy, believing that politics can't understand its struggles and its strains, or its hopes and dreams, or a country improved and empowered from the bottom up, stronger and more powerful than the one that we've found. We in the Cooperative Party choose that vision. We choose it with Community Britain. These are Labour values, and if we don't embrace and derive our strength from, others will, for very different ends. I want our Labour family to come with us in choosing Community Britain. Our partnership with you brings together the Labour and cooperative movements, two of the most successful social movements in our country's history. I'm proud we share a world-leading commitment to double the size of the cooperative economy. It's the embodiment of our shared cause and shared politics. It underpins our partnership. This year, 2025, is the UN Year of the Cooperative. The UN believes that cooperatives build a better world and has issued a call to all governments to harness cooperative power. Here, this Labour government has started doing just that. For the first time in decades, we now have a pro-co-op Westminster government. I'm also proud together we've ensured, with Michael and the team, that GB Energy properly backs the community ownership of the clean energy of the future, and passed new legislation which gives greater protection for retail workers, a campaign taken from the shop floor through Westminster into Royal Assent. With the support of our chair, Jim McMahon, our cooperative societies, trade unions, members and supporters, we look forward to going much further. With our great candidates in Scotland and Wales, we look forward to delivering a really strong cooperative voice ahead of important elections next year. With what we expect will be over 1,000 local election candidates, we look forward to having cooperative ideas put into practice in town halls up and down the land. Conference, I believe that we have a unique and beautiful mission. The Cooperative Party was born from the cooperative movement, a movement which is held together with internationally adopted values and principles, left in place for hundreds of years. People in the co-op movement believed in self-help and self-responsibility long before they put nets on football goals, believed in equity and equality before Victoria married Albert, and believed in democracy and solidarity long before Karl Marx picked up a pen to start writing Das Kapital. These are the enduring values our movement has chosen, and in conference I tell you, we will continue to fight for these long into the future as well. Friends, we believe in a more community Britain. Join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks very much for that. Right, now delegates, we're now ready for the Make Britain a Clean Energy Superpower debate. Let's get straight to the contributions from the floor. We start with Composite 1, Animal Welfare, moved by Camborne and Red Roof CLP and seconded by the Wrecking CLP. So can I see the delegate from Camborne and Red Roof, I think? Hello, Camborne. Oh, thank you.
Morning. Not quite.
No.
Now I am.
Now you are. Very good.
Okay. Good morning, Conference. My name is Councillor Stephen Barnes. I've been a member of Redruth Town Council in Cornwall and a member of the Labour Party for 40 years. My CLP is Camborne, Redruth and Hale, which is the most southerly Labour constituency in the country. This is my first time at conference and my first time speaking at conference. This is a composite motion which encompasses many issues relevant to improving the welfare of animals, ranging from problems with pets being stolen to how we should treat our wildlife in the country. The Labour Party has a proud track record of animal welfare when in office. We must advance those standards. Britain is known as a nation of animal lovers, and we need to have legislation to meet those expectations. COVID showed how much people value their pets, and how some others value them as a quick way to convert somebody else's pet into an easy cash bonus for heartless scoundrels, which tore families apart, leaving pet owners devastated and heartbroken. The previous Tory government dropped the Kept Animals Bill, which has ended puppy smuggling, puppy farming and reduced pet theft. It also failed to pass the Trophy Hunting Bill, which would have stopped hunters who slaughter and display endangered animal body parts. Trail hunting is being used by hunts as a smokescreen for the despicable practice of hunting foxes with hounds. We see regular examples of this throughout Cornwall. It is wrong and has no place in 21st century Britain. Now, there's many from city and urban areas that think that this is an urban versus rural issue. They are wrong. Banning this cruelty is as important to us in rural areas as it is to those of you that live in cities. Perhaps even more so as we witness the cruelty firsthand. This government was elected on a manifesto commitment to ban it. My message to conference and the leadership is respectful but blunt. Please just get on with it. I urge you to support this motion, and before I leave the rostrum, I'd like to thank my CLP for sending me, and my colleague Deborah Reid for supporting me, and happy birthday to my baby on Saturday. She's 27.
All right. Thanks for that, Stephen. I'm sure we all join with you in sending those birthday wishes. Yeah, but thank you very much. Yeah, and now if we can see the delegate from the Wrecking. Wrecking, Stephen, yeah. Thank you. You've got 2 minutes.
Thanks, Chair. Conference, good morning. My name is Jordan Keeble, and I'm a first-time delegate and speaker from the Wrecking. Thank you. I'm delighted to be seconding Composite Motion 1, since it will only strengthen labour welfare under Labour. Animal welfare, apologies. First, we cannot forget the past. As just mentioned, the Tories failed animals through not implementing the Trophy Hunting Bill or the Kept Animals Bill. Compare that to Labour, who banned fur farming, fox hunting, and the testing of cosmetic products on animals. The contrast could not be clearer. Look at Reform. They're led by a man who believes in fox hunting. Conference, a leopard can't change its spots. He has supported it, and he will support it. We cannot let that happen. The message is clear. Tories will fumble, Reform will digress, only Labour will progress. Through bringing an end to illegal puppy farming, banning trail hunting, the sale of animals with cropped ears, and also snare traps, alongside publishing a roadmap for the end of the use of animals, the testing of them in products. We will ensure that all animals, from rabbits in Rutland to Great Danes in Dagenham, and mini pigs in labs, all of them will be better off if we go through this motion. End economic incentives, ban immoral practices, proactively plan for the future. This is how you renew animal welfare. Conference, I ask you to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Jordan. Much appreciated. Next, we have Composite 6 Water, moved by St Austell and Newquay CLP and seconded by Windsor. So, if you're there, St Austell. Thanks for that. You've got 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. Morning. Got the graveyard shift, haven't we? My name's Jake Bonetta, delegate from St Austell and Newquay CLP, the chair of South West Young Labour and a councillor in the beautiful Penshurn Valley. Thank you. On June 19th, the St Austell River, my local river, a lifeline for wildlife and a place of peace for our community, was poisoned. Hundreds of fish were killed when liquid lime was poured into the watercourse from a southwest water site in our valley. The local ecosystem collapsed, and the community left in fear of going near our waterways. As someone who lives, walks and exercises around the riverbanks, all of this happened within sight of where I live. The bitter irony, all of this happened as our brilliant local Labour MP, Noah Law, was in the middle of a meeting with South West Water's senior management, supporting residents and pushing infrastructure upgrades of all things. This wasn't an isolated accident. It was the consequence of years of underinvestment, outsourcing and neglect. South West Water, like other private water companies, have prioritised shareholder dividends over environmental stewardship, prioritised a quick buck from residents over the long-term picture. And our rivers, our seas and our communities, my neighbours, are now paying the financial and environmental price. That's why I'm proud to move the composite motion on water. It supports our government to stop companies profiting from failure. introduce severe and automatic fines for offences, ensure independent monitoring of every outlet in every water body, and yes, Conference, bring criminal charges and even prison sentences for water bosses who persistently break laws or cover up damages. Because we know this, Conference, this is personal to all of us. It's about the ravaged ecosystem I saw with my own eyes in my local river. It's about the businesses up and down our great Cornish coasts watching sewage spills hit them hard in their pockets. It's about the surfers worried about getting in our seas for fear of serious sickness. Conference, we must end the era of senseless profiteering. We must restore our rivers and natural waterways, protect our coasts, and put people and local businesses first. Please support this motion and help the government get us to a future where water serves the public, not private shareholders. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Jake. And if I can see the delegate from Windsor. Thanks very much. You've got 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Conference. Councillor Abby King, Windsor CLP, and part of the Labour administration in Runnymede in Surrey. Thank you. Our Conference, from the Thames to the North Sea, our rivers, lakes and seas are the lifeblood of our communities. Yet, after 14 years of Tory neglect, they have been poisoned by record levels of illegal sewage dumping. Instead of investing in much-needed infrastructure, the Conservatives, and let's not forget, supported by the Liberal Democrats, let water companies line shareholder pockets and pay out bonuses while slashing the Environment Agency's budget, leaving it powerless to act. And let's be clear, Conference, Reform did not mention sewage once in their manifesto. Now, in the South East, we know all too well the true human cost of environmental failure. We remember 7-year-old Zain, who died after floodwaters carried toxic material into his home. His family has fought tirelessly for justice and truth, yet the system that protected him, that should have protected him, failed. Conference, we must never forget that behind every statistic is a life, a family and a community left changed forever. Only Labour has the courage and commitment to clean up this national disgrace. With the Water Act, persistent lawbreakers will face criminal charges. Water bosses who cover up spills will face prison. Bonuses for failure will be banned. And every outlet will be independently monitored to deliver transparency and accountability. Conference, only Labour will protect our water, our health and our future. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Abby. And I can now open the discussion from the floor. So, Seans, I will try and roam around. Let's have a look. There's a gent very skillfully with a red folder. Yeah, if you want to jump up. There's a fella, I think it is, stood at the back with a, yeah, right at the back there. And then I'll just go, there will be more. I'm picking people in bunches of 3. So I'm looking, I think there's somebody with a red dress on. That's right, yeah, yourself. Yeah, if you make your way to the front and make yourself known to the desk. Right, and if you could just tell us who you are, that'd be appreciated.
No worries. How many minutes have you got? Conference, my name is Sean Edge and I'm a first-time delegate from Bladen and Concert CLP. Now, thank you. Now, I was born and raised in South Shields, where the River Tyne meets the sea. And that river built our towns, shaped our industries, and still defines who we are as a region. Now, in Bladen and Concert, where I live today, the Tyne is still on my doorstep, joined by the River Derwent, flowing from Durham through Concert and Gateshead before meeting the Tyne. These rivers link my hometown and my new home. But after 14 years of Tory neglect, too often they've become open sewers. In 2024, the Derwent was polluted 466 times. The Tyne was polluted 989 times. That's more than 2.5 dumps every single day. And Northumbrian Water did this while paying dividends and bonuses. Now, Conference, that is a scandal. And let us be honest, Reform have no plan for water, no plan for sewage, and no plan for our rivers. Most of their waste comes from Reform's deputy leader in County Durham, Darren Grimes. Oh, I know he's a right keyboard warrior, our Darren. But whilst he's spewing his own pollution on social media, while Darren tweets Labour acts, my outstanding MP, Liz Twist, has demanded real powers to hold water bosses to account. She's raised this time and time again in the House of Commons. This motion delivers them: criminal charges, automatic fines, and an end to bonuses for failure. And just as past generations served apprenticeships on the Tyne, today a new generation is serving theirs at the Energy Academy at Newcastle College. Supported by our fantastic North East Mayor, Kim McGuinness, that academy is delivering the green and blue skills needed to clean up our rivers for future generations. Conference, the Tories failed. Reform have no answers, and only Labour will act for clean energy, clean water, and communities being put first. And as Jimmy Nail sang in that great Geordie banger, Big River, everything they tried so hard to kill, we will rebuild. Conference, I urge you to support Composite Motion 6. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for that, Sean. Who's next? Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Jo Blackman, Councillor and Cabinet Member for the Environment in the East London Borough of Redbridge, and I'm proud to be a delegate for CERA, which is Labour's affiliated Environment Socialist Society. The failure of the Tory government to invest in infrastructure and regulators has left our waterways in a desperate state, as privatised water companies enrich themselves at the expense of bill payers and the environment. In my own borough of Redbridge, over 2.5 litres of sewage is illegally entering the River Roding every single day, from dozens of outfalls, all of which are completely illegal. These have been found by local river guardians, and I'm grateful to the work of the River Roding Trust, Thames 21 and citizen scientists, as well as the many other organisations doing the same work across our country to protect our environment. Their work has also shown that these discharges are causing E. coli levels up to 240 times the safe bathing limit. These illegal sewage charges outfalls are not licensed, mapped, nor monitored by Thames Water nor the Environment Agency. And while this motion, which I do support, talks about the monitoring of sewage outfalls, the work of on the River Roding has shown that there are likely many more of these across our waterways that we don't know about, aren't being mapped and aren't being monitored. So we do need the wider monitoring that is needed by the Environment Agency. And what penalties have there been for the illegal pollution of the River Roding? None. There's not been one single prosecution or fine from the Environment Agency. And despite repeated calls on the EA to intervene, it is largely absent, barely undertaking any monitoring, not sanctioning and not sharing results from their very limited monitoring. This must change. So, Conference, I welcome Labour's action so far to tackle this with new laws and fines, but this must result in stronger action against polluting water companies, as well as better monitoring by regulators. It is only then that we can stop the sewage scandal and clean up our waterways.
Thanks, Jo. Thanks for that.
Good morning, Conference. Andrew Fox-Hewitt from the Fire Brigade Union here to speak in support of this composite. Many people will not immediately associate the state of waterways with firefighting, but it is firefighters who respond to incidents on our rivers, our lakes, and on the increasing amount of serious flooding that we face. Despite being the only agency doing this work, successive governments have failed to place a statutory duty on the Fire and Rescue Service to do this. This means that the services do not get the funding for the jobs, the equipment and the resources that we need to undertake that work. So the Fire Brigade Union call on this government to urgently put that right. But the other issue of the state of our waterways is the severe health and safety risk to our members. We have had firefighters up and down this country contract serious waterborne diseases when undertaking rescues that have ended their careers. All of this thanks to the privatisation, the profiteering and the recklessness of the ideology of the Conservatives and their latest reincarnation, reform. They have stripped back our natural infrastructure and we must no longer accept this. We all want hope that things will be different. This shouldn't be happening in Great Britain in 2025. So fund the Fire and Rescue Service, clean up our waterways, support the motion, solidarity.
Thanks for that, Andy. Much appreciated. Right, I'm looking for some more speakers, but is there any young member out there who's not spoken at conference yet? When all the hands go down. I think there's... There, right. If you'd like to come down to the desk, that's one. Right, any other speakers want to come? There's a woman in black, I think. Sorry if I'm a bit vague, the light's very... And there was one more. Sorry?
Young woman there with a book who might be a good choice.
I can see the woman with the book, people are pointing. And lights and spotlights on you. That's me free for now. There will be some more, though.
Good morning, Conference. I come to speak on Composite Motion 6. My name is Hope Watts. I'm from the New Forest East. It's the reality for us here that bills just go up, and waste management just gets worse and worse. It's not just a reality for us in the New Forest, but for so many across the country. Southern Water has a particularly terrible record. Last year in the New Forest, entire communities such as Hythe lost all water. They had to walk miles and miles and miles just to get supplies. This is even true for Southampton General Hospital, which is our main hospital servicing the area. We had to get bottled water because it was deemed that we could not drink out of our taps. In fact, it made the local news. Not only is this not all right for our area, it shouldn't be normal. It shouldn't be going on around the country. This is the result of insufficient infrastructure, insufficient investment, poor supply management, and absolutely no consequences for the perpetrators, apart from insufficient signs and a slap on the wrist. We must do better. The Labour government stands at the precipice of actually doing something about this issue. We cannot let reform take away our power. Our CLP and our party should be acting on this. Therefore, I call on Conference urgently to act on Composite Motion 6. Thank you very much.
The good news is all the speakers are coming in under time, which means we can get more in, so your cooperation is much appreciated on that. Yep.
Hello, Conference. Ooh, it's gone up. Hello, Conference. My name is Joseph Morris, and I am from here, but I'm representing Newcastle North CLP. I'm going to... Thank you. I am a first-time delegate, and I am also a first-time speaker. So, thank you. Bloody hell. Your mouth gets so dry when you're up here, right? I'd like to speak on Composite Motion 1. I do fully support the motion, and I will be voting for it. But what I'd like to discuss is animal welfare as a priority ballot. I've been extremely disappointed with the fact that we have chosen animal welfare as a priority ballot. And, you know, we've prioritised as a debate animal welfare over the welfare of our people, over the welfare of the working class. We are the party of the welfare state, a welfare state that has been decimated by 14 years of Conservative government. And it's been decimated for a lot longer. Privatisation has been, since Thatcher, we all know. Trust me, we all know. We are the Labour Party. We are the party of Labour. We are the party of the trade union movement. We are the party of the working class. We are not the Green Party. Animal welfare is an important issue, and as I say, I do support the motion. But conference, we must be clear. We are the Labour Party. Our aim must be to abolish poverty. The greatest stain on our society is poverty. Poverty is a political choice, and I am extremely disappointed that we have not been able to discuss it at this conference. That's okay. But yeah, thank you, conference. Solidarity. Support both motions, but I'd just like to say I am extremely disappointed that we've not been able to discuss poverty. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Freya, and I'm a first-time delegate and first-time speaker from Huntingdon CLP. So I'm a university student from Cambridgeshire, but I attend university in Oxfordshire, and I know better than anyone how bad and how important water is, because every year we lose the boat race to the very superior Cambridge. But there is a serious message behind this, and our waterways are deeply polluted and they are unsafe. There are periods of time we cannot enter it due to the pollutants present, and it's so bad that one of my friends was unwell for over a week at the end of our first year as she'd been in contact with the water and had got some E. coli contracted in it. Thames Water should be held accountable for its failures to maintain safe waterways, and how can it be right that a boss receives a six-figure bonus and boasts that he deserves it when his company is consistently failing? Why should working people pay the bill while these companies fill their pockets? It's not right. And it's only Labour who can tackle these bosses, allowing our waterways to prosper. So support this motion to stop those who are profiting at the cost of our health and safety from continuing to do so. Thank you very much, conference.
Thanks for that. A good bit of time saved. Right, if we're quick, we've got time for another 3 delegates. Let me have a look. I'll try and get some people. There's one right at the back waggling a blue document. If you could come up. Yeah, that's you yourself. There's a gent here who's smiling like mad. Oh, it brightens my morning up. And let's see, and in the red over there, yeah, that'll be our 3. Sorry for now, thanks.
Morning, conference. Ollie Goff, Hornsey and Fry and Barnet, first-time delegate. Thank you. Our rivers are some of the most beautiful and biodiverse places in our country, but too often they are covered in a film of foul-smelling scum, the signature of a system that lets private companies pour human waste straight into our waterways. This is vandalism of the natural world happening in plain sight. That's why I welcome this motion. I'm so proud that Labour has already issued record fines to polluters and is determined to hold water bosses to account. But let's be honest, punishing bosses deals with the symptoms, not the cause. Our water system is broken because for decades it has been starved of investment and hobbled by poor regulation. Ofwat was set up to keep bills down and profits flowing, not to make sure our rivers run clean. And when the cracks appear in the walls, you don't paint over them, you fix the foundations beneath. And that's what Labour is now doing. The first new reservoirs in over 30 years, upgrades to sewage treatment, major investment in infrastructure that should have happened decades ago, and a new powerful regulator promised with the teeth to do the job. But conference, we can go even further. Thames Water has abused the trust of the public. It's time to put it into a special administration regime, using the legal powers we now have, and to show that no company is too big to be held to account. That doesn't mean public ownership. It means new management, tighter regulation, and a model that puts long-term investment and the public interest ahead of short-term profit. Conference, I urge you to back this motion with pride, but let's be clear. We won't clean up our rivers with fines and prosecutions, but with concrete and steel and organisations obligated to maintain their assets. Only Labour, with the courage to invest and the will to reform, can protect our natural heritage and make our rivers safe to swim in. Once again, thank you.
Shall let's see who's next. Hello.
Good morning, conference. My name is Comfort Akimobola, and I'm representing East Leeds CLP. I'm a first-time delegate and a first-time speaker, so I'm really nervous. I am supporting Composite Motion 6. Across our UK, our river and coastline are drying, poisoned by record level of illegal sewage dumping. This is a toxic legacy of 14 years of Tory failure. In Yorkshire, where I am from, we see the crisis firsthand. Not only are we fighting sewage in our waterway, but our vital reservoirs are also drying up. This is a stark symbol of failure from the Tory government. And water is life, as we all know that. I would like to also pay tribute to champions like Richard Bogan, our MP, who fight tirelessly for this anti-sewage campaign on the background. And also, now that we have the Labour government, we employ the government to please ban executive bonuses when the companies are failing. We must also introduce severe and automatic fines to every company and their offences. And also, we must bring criminal charges for water bosses who cover up these illegal sewage spills. Please, conference, we must support this motion to keep water, because we know water is life. Thank you.
Right, and the final delegate of the morning. Good morning.
Polly Billington, Member of Parliament for East Thanet. East Thanet is made up of 3 towns that rely desperately on the health of our waterways and our seas. It is surrounded on all sides by beautiful beaches and seas that people want to come and enjoy. Let us remember, our natural environment is not just something we love, but is something vital for our economic health and well-being at the coast. It's not just East Thanet that benefits from having cleaner seas and cleaner waterways. There is nearly 1 in 5 people in England and Wales that live within 5 kilometres of the coast. Those are the people that benefit from a commitment to us cleaning up our seas. Those are the people that need an economic strategy which involves our natural environment at the coast. And those are the people that will benefit from a Labour government that is committed to transforming our water industry and transforming our attitudes towards natural environment. We are, let us remember, the party of the right to roam, the party of the wild trespass. And we need to remember that access to nature is as vital to the human condition as the opportunity to work. We need to be able to remember and remind our colleagues when they are making decisions that the Labour government is part of a Labour movement which knows and values the importance of working and non-working people to the freedom to have fun by the sea. Thank you.
Right, well, thanks for that conference. I'd like to ask you now to welcome the Secretary of State for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, Emma Reynolds. Thank you.
Thank you, Conference. I'm delighted to be here as the new Secretary of State for the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs. And to have such a strong ministerial team: Angela Eagle, Emma Hardy, Mary Cray and Baroness Hayman. The first all-women ministerial team at a UK Department of State. Conference, until recently, I was the city minister, but Conference, I'm more of a country girl than a city girl. Taking my kids on walks in the stunning Chiltern Hills is one of the greatest joys of my life. My Wickham constituency is surrounded by beautiful farmland and countryside. No wonder the Labour giants, Barbara Castle, Harold Wilson, Nye Bevan and Clem Attlee, each made that part of rural England their home. Conference, a walk in the woods, a hike over the hills, a dip in the sea. These are the things that make life worthwhile. These are the things that make us proud to be British. However, we all know that the state this country was left in by the Tories was dire. Nature in catastrophic decline, waste littering our streets, vital infrastructure stalled. And Conference, perhaps the biggest scandal of all, raw sewage choking our rivers and lapping at our seashores, the perfect metaphor for Tory failure. But we've already turned a corner. This Labour government is leaving behind the stench of the Conservatives, and we're cleaning up our rivers, lakes and seas. Thanks to the work of my predecessor, Steve Reid, and our fantastic Labour MPs in Parliament, this Labour government has passed a new law that puts water companies on notice. Banning multi-million-pound bonuses for polluting water bosses, launching 81 criminal investigations, introducing new prison sentences for pollution. Conference, there will be no more undeserved payouts on the back of your bills, no more ripping off the British people, and no more rewards for failure. Those days are over. It's a Labour government that will drive the renewal of this broken system. We have already secured a record £104 billion of investment by the water industry into our water infrastructure, fixing the leaks the Tories ignored, upgrading the pipes that the Tories left to crumble, and cutting the pollution of our waterways that the Tories enabled. And crucially, this investment will build the new reservoirs that we need to supply our ever-increasing demands, like the new towns this government has just announced. This water investment is good for jobs, for consumers, and good for growth. Turning around a broken water system will not happen overnight, but I am determined to drive this fundamental change and clean up our rivers, lakes, and seas. First, we will abolish Ofwat and create a new, single, powerful regulator to stand firmly on the side of consumers and the environment, ending the abuses of the past. Second, we will go further and introduce a new water reform bill to deliver a water system designed for the long term. And third, we will use the fines on water companies, over £100 million to date, to invest in cleaning up our waterways. Conference, we will make the polluter pay. And a healthy environment isn't just about clean water. It's about the land that sustains us and the people who work it. And I want to speak directly to British farmers and the businesses that make up rural Britain. I want you to know I've seen firsthand how hard you work and how much we depend on you, putting food on the nation's plate, changing the way the land is farmed to protect the environment for the next generation. And just as the rest of the economy is transforming and modernising, so is farming, marrying this country's rich traditions with cutting-edge business practices. Farming is essential to economic growth and prosperity. Supporting sustainable farming means food security, rural jobs, and leading the world in agricultural innovation. We are already making progress, and we have secured the biggest budget for sustainable farming and nature recovery in this country's history. And there is much more to do. We will bring forward the farming roadmap and the land use framework to pave the way towards a profitable and healthy farming future. Conference, as your Secretary of State, I will strive to restore our natural environment and make it available to all. The Tories left our wildlife and natural spaces devastated, but not on the watch of this Labour government. We know how important nature is to the British people, and we've hit the ground running. Last year brought the highest tree planting rate in 20 years. That's nearly 10 million trees. And we've started planting the first new national forest in 30 years across Wiltshire, Gloucestershire and the west of England. We have banned bee-killing pesticides, protected our peatlands from burning, introduced legislation to protect 2/3 of the world's oceans. Conference, that's the difference that a Labour government makes. But there is still much more to do. We will restore nature at scale across the country and widen access, with 9 new national river walks, 2 more national forests, so families across the country can enjoy the clean air and quiet spaces that nature provides. Planning rules are not working for infrastructure or for nature, which is why we are reforming them. We are helping first-time buyers and families across the country fulfil the dream of home ownership, whilst also setting up the Nature Restoration Fund, creating a win-win for housing and for nature. Conference, concern for the natural environment runs deep through our movement's history, from the earliest days of the cooperative movement and their concern with healthy communities, food and homes, to the trade unions' mighty campaigns for safe, clean workplaces, to the Kinder Scout trespass led by workers from Sheffield and Manchester who fought and won the right to enjoy nature, to William Morris and the call for beauty in the face of industrial squalor. And in office, Labour governments and Labour councils have delivered the laws to safeguard the environment and make the joy of nature available to all. Conference, we can be proud of our record on the environment, whereas the Tories consistently ignored and neglected it, and the British people rightly threw them out. Reform are climate deniers, and their policies would put thousands of clean energy jobs, nature and the climate at risk. The Greens, on the other hand, are apparently in favour of clean energy, except when it comes to building any infrastructure. Conference, Labour is the party that restores nature and cleans up our rivers. Labour is the party that backs our farmers and builds for the future. Labour is the party that restores our natural beauty while securing our nation's prosperity. Thank you.
Right, well, thanks for that, Emma. Very inspiring. And Conference, now if you'll join me in welcoming Tracy Wainwright, who will introduce Ed Miliband. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Conference. My name is Tracy Wainwright. I'm a Unison member and a coordinator for EDF, supporting 3 branches and members across the UK. And I'm proud to stand here as someone who's worked in the energy industry for 26 years. I know the value of high-quality energy jobs, with unions at the heart, can have for our communities. I've seen firsthand how the sector provides opportunities for young people whilst providing the vital energy security we need. The energy industry has powered our country for decades, creating high-skilled jobs in every corner of the UK. This is why I'm so proud to be here today to introduce our next speaker. As we begin the next chapter of our country's energy history, it is because of the investment that this Labour government is making through its mission to make Britain a clean energy superpower that the next generation of young people will benefit from good, secure jobs in our industry. Energy security for the country, financial security for families and bill payers, job security for workers, from apprentices at Sizewell C to carbon capture in Aberdeen to Rolls-Royce in the East Midlands. We all know it's not just about jobs, but good jobs with proper wages and decent rights at work. We must also take the opportunity to tackle injustice that many working people face. From day one of this Labour government, Ed Miliband made clear to the energy companies that we will not accept new industries being considered a union-free zone, as they were under the Tories. Unions must and will have a central role in building our energy future. That means decent pay, good quality conditions, access to training, and yes, strong trade unions in the workplace. Alongside the biggest upgrade to workers' rights in a generation, this Labour government is grasping that opportunity. And I'm proud to say in August 24, Unison, GMB, Prospect and Unite signed one of the first recognition agreements in the renewable industry. This is a difference the Labour government on your side makes. And this is why I'm pleased to introduce your next speaker, the Secretary for State for Energy Security and Net Zero, Ed Miliband.
Brilliant, Tracy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was brilliant. Thank you very much. Thanks so much, friends. And let's first of all hear it for Tracy and her brilliant speech. Thank you so much, Tracy. And let me say something about my friend, Keir Starmer, our leader and our Prime Minister. Because friends, believe me, I know what pressure you face in giving the leader's speech at Labour Party conference. Long experience. Yesterday, he gave an absolute barnstormer. Let's raise the roof for Keir Starmer and the brilliant speech he gave. Friends, I know this party, and I love this party, and I love all of you as well. You know, my dad spoke at conference only once as a delegate. The party conference was in Margate. It was 1955, 70 years ago. And recently I looked back at his speech, and in a 2-minute speech, he attacked the National Executive Committee. He complained about the composite he was being asked to support. And he called for the nationalisation of the commanding heights of the economy. Some things don't change in the Labour Party. But he said something in that speech that has always had special meaning for me. He said that being part of this party was a great adventure, and we had a vision the Tories would never have. A great adventure. For me, for us, for our party, that's the point of being in politics. To go out, argue for, and make real your vision, our vision of the country, and have it change people's lives for the better. Not just to be different faces managing the government, but governing with totally different ideals and vision. That's what I want to talk to you about today, conference. But first,
as you head home and we end this conference, you should take with you the ways we are starting to change Britain. Just take pride in what we've already done in energy. 10,000 new jobs at Sizewell C. Investing in Rolls-Royce small modular reactors. Funding for carbon capture and storage in all corners of Britain. The biggest investment in clean energy in British history. The onshore wind ban lifted. Enough solar to power 2 million homes. Ending the scandal of the mine workers' pension scheme. Solar panels on 200 hospitals and 200 schools to cut their energy bills. Britain leading the world again in the fight against the climate crisis. And yes, the first publicly owned energy company in Britain for 70 years, Great British Energy. But friends, this must only be the start of the change we bring to Britain. Because our country is so far from the vision we all have, and people are impatient for change. And here's the thing, they're not wrong, they're right. Our country needs to be run very differently. Now, we know what reform's approach is. Scapegoat anyone or anything they can pretend is the cause of all our problems. They want to blame diversity. They want to blame net zero. Anything they can to stir up division. Friends, I'll tell you this, they're wrong. They're dead wrong about the causes of our country's problems, about why our living standards have stagnated, about why our public services have declined. You see, here's the thing. It's two dominant right-wing Tory ideas that have devastated Britain over the last few decades. The first idea from the 1980s, trickle-down economics. Remember that? Enrich those at the top, and everyone else would feel the benefits. We all know how that worked out. All it did was bring the deep inequality that still scars us to this day. Friends, it didn't work. It won't work. It can never work. The second idea from the 2010s, austerity. That if government got out of the way and cut again, it would sort out our economic problems. And we all know, you all know from your communities, that was a disaster too. Decimating the services across Britain that working people rely on. So you see, and this has got to be our starting point, that's the real issue. That's the real issue about the condition of Britain. For almost 30 of the last 40 years, we have had governments that have transferred wealth, power, and income away from working-class communities. And it's not through an accidental series of mishaps, but a deliberate act to benefit the wealthiest in our society. Friends, we've got our party card here. Remember what it says on our party card. It says we stand for a community in which power, wealth, and opportunity are in the hands of the many and not the few. That's our vision. That's our vision. But that feels like an absolute fantasy, a distant dream for so many millions of people in our country. That's why so many people feel Britain doesn't work for them. That is what we must change. That is the mission of this Labour government. And now what's so important about clean energy, what's so important is it can answer the call. As Tracy said so well, it can answer the call for a different kind of economy run for working people. It offers the biggest opportunity for job creation for decades, and we must seize it. Skilled jobs in proud professions, tens of thousands more jobs for engineers, for welders, for electricians, for construction workers. And behind these statistics, and you know I like statistics, behind these statistics is the potential for each and every one of these jobs to change the lives of working people and their communities. You know, recently, I spoke to an apprentice working at Sizewell C. He was so excited. He was so excited about what he was doing, the prospect of a good job, not having to leave his hometown, doing the right thing, yes, for the future of the planet too. Just think about what that chance will do for him and thousands of others like him. And now think about the potential, job by job, city by city, town by town, your city, from offshore wind in the east of England to carbon capture and storage in the northeast, and yes, here in the northwest too. Hydrogen in Yorkshire to new nuclear in Wales, critical minerals in Cornwall to nuclear fusion in the Midlands, and backing existing industries like ceramics. And in Scotland, oil and gas workers who have powered our country and our world will continue to be a valued part of the energy workforce. And at the same time, we will create new jobs in hydrogen, offshore wind, and carbon capture and storage. And friends, if you want to know the difference the Labour government makes, you know, the Acorn carbon capture and storage project was talked about for years by the SNP and Tories, but never delivered. Now it is being made real by this Labour government. That's the difference the Labour government makes. And friends, let me say this. Think how many more thousands of jobs we could create if we had a Scottish government that embraced and didn't block nuclear power. One of the many reasons we need to kick out the SNP and make Anna Sarwar the First Minister of Scotland. And these jobs, and these new jobs, and Tracy talked about this too, must be a model for the kind of fairer economy we believe in. And look, I want to be very straight with you about this. For far too long, trade unions have been locked out of new energy industries. They came of age when Tory dogma said unions were a dirty word. No more. Not on my watch. Not on my watch, conference. Not on our watch. Not ever. And so let me say this. Our clean industry bonus rewards the offshore wind industry for investing in Britain, and that's the right thing to do. But under a Labour government, public money must serve the public interest. That's why I can announce we will introduce a new Fair Work Charter as a condition of that bonus. And let me spell it out. Fair wages, the very best rights at work, and yes, access to unions. My message is simple. My message is simple. Under this Labour government, fairness at work is not a privilege for some, but must be a right for all. And as I talk about this issue, let me pay tribute to my friend Angela Rayner for her New Deal for working people, and I pledge we will implement that New Deal for working people in full, in spirit and in substance. And our commitment means stamping out exploitation wherever we find it. You know what? You know what I discovered when I walked into this Department for Energy? Current rules mean that if you work offshore in renewables, more than 12 miles out at sea, you are literally in no man's land when it comes to employment protection. You're not even guaranteed the minimum wage. It is a scandal. It is a Tory scandal, and I say we will end it. Our principle, which we will put into law, offshore, onshore, land or sea, you will be guaranteed fair pay and decent rights at work. That is the difference a Labour government makes. And clean energy offers our best chance to escape the high energy bills that have caused the cost of living crisis. Today, bills remain high because wholesale gas prices are still 75% higher than before Russia invaded Ukraine. We're at the mercy of the petrostates and dictators, and the only way out of it is our mission for clean power by 2030. And as we put up the solar panels and wind turbines, build the nuclear power on the grid, in the meantime, we're determined to do everything we can to help working people. So this winter, because of the decisions of this Labour government to extend the Warm Homes discount, almost 3 million more families on the lowest incomes will get £150 off their energy bills. We will not rest until we tackle the scourge of fuel poverty in our country. For years, landlords have got away with renting out substandard, damp accommodation with no rights for renters. No more, not on my watch. And so in our Warm Homes plan, I tell you this today, we will end this scandal. Hundreds of thousands lifted out of fuel poverty, millions of families helped. That's what ending the Tory legacy of cold, damp homes looks like, conference. And this is just the start. Insulation, solar power, batteries for lower bills to help tackle the cost of living crisis. House by house, street by street, working with our brilliant Labour local authorities and mayors, helping millions up and down the country. A plan that means by switching to clean energy, you will be better off. That's the difference a Labour government makes. And friends, we've only just begun when it comes to the work of Great British Energy. Don't let them tell you public ownership makes no difference. I'll tell you exactly the difference it makes. Building on our success, Great British Energy will go even further in cutting energy bills for frontline services. On top of the 200 schools already announced, I can announce 45 more schools will get rooftop solar this year, transferring money from the pockets of energy companies into frontline services. On top of the 200 already in the works, over 50 more NHS sites. And for the first time, our publicly owned energy company, Great British Energy, will work with the Ministry of Defence, so those who serve in our military get the benefit of lower energy bills too. Great British Energy, owned by the British people, supported by the British people. Yes, friends, delivering for the British people. And this is all in the service of our vision, bringing wealth and power back to working people and their families. That's the mission of this Labour government. But friends, and Keir spelt it out yesterday, we face a fight like never before, not in my 30 years in this movement. Reform would wreck everything we're doing. They've said they would wage war on clean energy, a culture war they're importing from the United States, driven by the rich and powerful interests who fund them. And let's spell out what their war means. It's a war on the workers at the Siemens wind turbine factory in Hull. It's a war on the construction workers building carbon capture and storage in Teesside. It's a war on the workers at the new cable factory in Scotland. It's a war on the working people of Britain. That's what reform's war means. And theirs is an all-out war on future generations too. I'm incredibly proud of British climate leadership. I'm incredibly proud of Labour climate leadership. And I say reform's war on the future would betray every young person in our country and every young person and every person yet to be born. And here's the thing. Don't let reform tell you Britain can't make a difference in the world. Friends, we will never accept reform's shriveled, unpatriotic and diminished view of our country. Ours has always been a vision of Britain standing tall in the world, fighting for the national interest and true to our traditions of internationalism. And let me just say, I am so proud to be part of a government that has officially recognized a Palestinian state, as this party has long demanded. And friends, we've got to call out Farage and his cronies for who they really are. They're the investment-crushing, job-destroying, bill-raising, poverty-driving, science-denying, Putin-appeasing, young people betraying bunch of ideological extremists. That is who they are. And we know where they want to go next. And they won't know where they want to go next, because they've told us. Fracking. Fracking. In your communities. Fracking will not take a penny off bills. It will not create long-term sustainable jobs. It will trash our climate commitments. And it is dangerous and deeply harmful to our natural environment. Friends, the good news is that communities have fought back and won this fight before and will do so again. Remember Liz Truss? Who could forget Liz Truss? Remember Liz Truss and her 42 days of disaster? The Tories tried to overturn the fracking ban, led by Jacob Rees-Mogg. Remember him? Yeah, who could forget him either? Friends, I've got a message for you. We sent those frackers packing. I say, let's ban fracking and vow to send this bunch of frackers packing too. But the threat from reform goes way beyond their climate-denying agenda. You see, the truth is, I wish Nigel Farage was just the snake oil Tory city boy we've known about for years. He's actually morphed into something even more dangerous. He's now a key part of a global network that wants to destroy the ties that bind our communities and our way of life. And I can sum up the threat for you in 2 words. Elon Musk. Elon Musk. He incites violence on our streets. He calls for the overthrow of our elected government. He's an enabler of disinformation through X. He thinks he can tell us how to run Britain. Conference. We have a message for Elon Musk. Get the hell out of our politics and our country. Friends, let me end by saying this. What I've learned over 30 years in politics, through good times and bad, thick and thin, is that what sustains you is something very simple. Your values, what you believe in, what you stand for, and who you fight for. That's what the point of politics is. In fact, I think that's the only point of being in politics. And at this moment of peril for the world and danger for our country, we know what our values mean. We have to fundamentally change who our country works for, not tinkering around the edges or fiddling at the margins, but fighting always, always for the vision that it says on our party card, power, wealth and opportunity in the hands of the many, not the few. And this time, in our generation, we haven't come this far. We didn't work this hard for 14 years through the dark days of opposition to hand our country over to reform. This is the battle of our time. Our people and our communities against the political con men who want to sell our country out to the vested interests. Our people and our communities against narcissistic billionaires who sow disinformation and stoke violence. Our people and our communities against those who would rob them of their rights, sow further inequality, and take away our freedoms. Friends, our fate lies in our hands. We have the power to change Britain for the better. Let's use that power, guided always, always by what we believe and who we're in politics to fight for. And friends, I say this, with the courage of our convictions, we can, we must, and we will win the day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sure you've enjoyed that conference. I suspect you did. Anyway, thank you, Ed. Thank you for delegates. That concludes the final policy debate of Annual Conference 2025. Thanks for your patience with us. But it's not over, yes. Anyway, we're now taking the votes on the composites. We'll take these votes as a show of hands. Please keep your hands in the air so we can get a clear picture. And now for the motions. Composite 1, animal welfare. Can I see all those in favour? Looks pretty oval, but anyway, can I see those against? Yeah, hands down quickly. Yeah, thank you very much. That looks like to me, I won't say it's unanimous, but it's very overwhelming. And now composite 6, water. Again, can I see those in favour? It's looking pretty big. If you could put your hands down, thanks. Can I see those against? Nope. Again, overwhelmingly carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, conference. That concludes the votes for today. So can you please welcome Shabana Mahmood, who will be taking over from me as the chair. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, conference. And thank you for being here on the final day as we close our conference. First to arrive and last to leave, we are the great survivors. I mean, some might say there is a touch of masochism to those of us who are still here. But I think that we know we are really the very best of our movement. Not here for the parties, but for the panels. Not here for the drinks, but for the debates. And not here for the questionable karaoke at the mirror party, but for the motions on the floor of conference. Let me start by saying thank you to everyone who has contributed to this year's conference, whether from the hall or the fringe, on the stage or from the floor, speaker or delegate. You are what makes this party what it is, a movement that is greater than the sum of its parts. More even than that, We are a family. A little dysfunctional at times, perhaps, but a family just the same. Today marks a particular honour for me, my first day as chair of the National Executive Committee. And it is a privilege to chair the body that unites each element of this party, the Cabinet and our members of Parliament, councillors and CLPs, trade unions and affiliates. The Labour Party has always been a big tent, uniting different traditions, ideas and ideals in a single common cause, making our country a better place. I have now been a member of the NEC for nearly a decade. Some of them were dark years for our party, but they were years in which we steered ourselves away from the brink of irrelevance. They were the years that we reconnected our party with the working class communities that we exist to serve. They were the years when we earned our right to be a party of power once more. Today, I become chair in what are dark days once more. But now the situation is different. There is not a darkness in our party, there is a darkness in our country. As the Prime Minister himself said yesterday, we find ourselves engaged in a fight for the soul of this country. And we have a choice between fear and hope, between division and decency, between grievance and renewal. I know the path that we will choose because I know the vision of this country that we all believe in. It is a vision of an open, tolerant, generous place. It is a patriotism that speaks but does not feel the need to shout. It is one that embraces those who trace their roots here back 1,000 years, and also those who look like me. It is a patriotism that accepts that some things about our country will change, but that there is something essential that will always endure. It is the patriotism of a greater Britain, not a littler England. We have met in a moment in which a patriotism like this is at risk. A growing number are turning instead towards something smaller, something more divisive, something darker, something a lot more like ethno-nationalism. A vision of this country that finds no room for me within it. I refuse to give up my belief that we can still reach out to people, because I know that we still have the power to persuade. Yes, we are in a fight, but that fight is far from over. And if there is one thing I know about the Labour Party, it is that we are always up for a fight, and we fight to win. This conference has given us renewed vigour in that effort. From the stage, our Prime Minister and Cabinet have set out the change that we are bringing to this country. A Hillsborough law that rights a decades-old injustice. A defining new target that lifts vocational education to where it should be, equal to or even greater than a university education. A library in every primary school, giving every child the kind of opportunity that only comes from a good start in life. And the next generation of new towns across this country following in the footsteps of Attlee's New Jerusalem. And in my own brief, a migration system that is fair for all. Above all else, one thing has been clear to me at this conference. We know the scale of the challenge that we face. We know that working class communities across this country are calling out for change. That change is underway. Yes, change takes time, but change is coming. And together, I know that we will renew this country. Thank you, Conference. Okay, now I'm going to do the closing formalities of conference, but the first and most important bit of our final business is to say a thank you to all of the organisations that have helped deliver such a safe, secure and successful conference. So, let me say, all the staff at the ACC Liverpool, all the hotels across the city, including the Pullman and Leonardo's, Merseyside Police, Securitas and Carlisle Stewarding, and Ashley Venables and all of our accessibility stewards. Barefoot Live, Barefoot Live and Broadsword for all the production, Sign Elise for their BSL interpretation, Prompt Action Auto Cue, and for our little ones, Nip About for the creche provision. And finally, of course, all the Labour Party staff, because we wouldn't be here without them, and they're frankly bloody brilliant. Okay, folks, so now to lead the singing of the Red Flag and Jerusalem, we welcome back to conference Anna Marie Newton. She's accompanied by Stephen Mannings, Director of Choral Outreach at Liverpool Cathedral.
And